Have you ever read Richard Feynman's love letter to his wife?
No, I read The Pleasure of Finding Things Out.
Okay.
But I love Feynman. Love. I mean, you can see a lot of influence.
I might not be able to say this without crying, which is going to be very embarrassing, but I'm going to try. October 17th, 1946. Darlene, I adore you, sweetheart. I know how much you like to hear it, but I don't only write it because you like it. I write it because it makes me warm all over inside to write you. It is such a terribly long time since I last wrote to you, almost 2 years, but I know you'll excuse me because you understand how I am, stubborn and realistic, and I thought there was no sense to writing. But now I know, my darling wife, that it is right to do what I have delayed in doing, and that I have done so much in the past. I want to tell you I love you. I want to love you. I will always love you. I find it hard to understand in my mind what it means to love you after you are dead. But I still want to comfort and take care of you. And I want you to love me and care for me. I want to have problems to discuss with you. I want to do little projects with you. I never thought until now that we can do that. What should we do? We started to learn to make clothes together, or learn Chinese, or get a movie projector. Can't I do something now? No. I am alone without you. And you were the idea woman, and general instigator of all our wild adventures. When you were sick, you worried because you could not give me something that you wanted to and thought I needed. You needn't have worried, just as I told you then. There was no real need, because I loved you in so many ways, so much. And now, it is clearly even more true. You can give me nothing, yet I love you so that you stand in my way of loving anyone else. But I want you to stand there. You, dead, are so much better than anyone else alive. I know you will assure me that I am foolish and that you want me to have full happiness and don't want to be in my way. I'll bet you are surprised that I don't even have a girlfriend except you, sweetheart, after 2 years. But you can't help it, darling. Nor can I. I don't understand it, for I have met many girls, and very nice ones, and I don't want to remain alone. But in 2 or 3 meetings, they all seem ashes. You only are left to me. You are real. My darling wife, I do adore you. I love my wife. My wife is dead.
Tough. To play the reverse out, it's like, would I want Layla to write that letter? And I don't think I would. Unless she was happy writing that letter. But if the removal of me as a contingency of reinforcement for her meant that she couldn't find that in somebody else, would sadden me. And so like with Layla, I've told her, I tell her a lot. I was like, I'm going to die before you. Statistically, I'm for sure going to die before you.
She's a little younger.
She's younger and I'm bigger.
Female.
She exercised, like she's for sure going to live longer. And I was like, I want you to spend as little time as humanly possible from the time that I die to finding somebody else. You do me no service by making yourself miserable. And you do not discredit or dishonor me by finding somebody else to spend your life with. So, yeah, just, I only think about that from reverse.
There's the joy of melancholy.
Yeah.
Is an interesting kind of emotion that's it's complex.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this strange,
like wallowing,
satisfaction in wistfulness.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, wallowing's maybe a little more loaded.
Mm-hmm.
But melancholy, there can be odd joy in sadness and a kind of beauty that you get to experience after something is gone that you can't experience during it. I've not had anybody in my life die. Only child with a mother and a father that's still alive. Like there's no one.
Must be nice.
Yeah. Fuck. But there's not been many things that I've lost. And this is me fucking Monday morning quarterbacking. I don't know, but maybe.
What's a mood setter?
Modern women see Layla and think, I'll wait to establish myself in my career before I date or get married or have kids. But they forget, we got married when she was 23, and we built this together. Love is one of the rare times you don't do life in order, but rather all at once.
If you find someone that makes your world go round and makes the world make sense to you, where you both look at the same thing and say, oh, you saw that too? Like, I feel like I was the only one. I think that for high achieving individuals, finding someone who sees the world the same way is incredibly rare. And when you find that person, you should stop what you're doing and then you should get them to stay with you. And it's been, one of the best decisions of my entire life, marrying Layla. And there's this, especially unfortunately for women right now, there's this huge, put it off, delay, there's no rush, but it doesn't actually take into consideration two things. One is that biology hasn't advanced with culture and society. You can't have kids past, 35. I mean, you can, but you're a geriatric, it's a geriatric pregnancy past 35.
Ruthless time.
Yeah, I'm just being real, right?
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I this is like super prevalent, and I know this is a much more common theme on the show, and I don't touch it very much, but I just say it more like, because I think it sucks.
It's unfair.
It's not, yeah, it's like objectively, it's not fair. Guys can wait their whole lives. They can do everything. And you have to, if you go to college, graduate college at 21 or 22. And if you want to have 4 kids, assuming that you have perfect pregnancies and you have exactly 1 year, or 18 months between each one, okay, that's 6 years by the time you're done. And so if we rule out geriatric pregnancies are last, then it means that we have to basically you have to have your first kid at 29. Well, okay, maybe it'll take, let's just tack 1 year on of marriage to have the kid and be married. Okay, 28, you're married. All right, do you want to marry somebody within 6 months of meeting them? Let's give it 2 years to give our logical, brain in. Okay, so 26. You graduate at 22. You have 48 months. And I think that, again, this is if you don't want kids, then all of this is null. If you do, then you have a very small window to piece that together. Now, of course, there's surrogates, and maybe in the future, like I'll say in general, betting on I'll smoke cigarettes now because by the time I'm old, they'll have a cure for it. I don't know. I don't make those bets. And so
it's easier to work with reality the way it is, not the way you hope it's going to end up landing.
Yeah. To knowingly incur basically a guaranteed price for the potential of maybe a non-existent solution is probably not the best decision-making process. And to be clear, I say this, Layla and I, we don't have kids. She's not 35. But I think that we have these unrealistic expectations that someone is going to make our lives, that they're going to complete us in some way. When I think that for me, the best thing that a partner can do is help you be the best version of yourself. And that may mean that you also have other friends who fulfill other needs for you. I remember a mentor of mine, he had a wife that, well, most people have wives that are not involved in their business. I'm more the exception there. But his wife wasn't involved at all in the business, and they had a very happy marriage. And he said, and I said, do you ever wish you could talk shop with, your wife? And he said, God, no. And I was like, why not? He said, that's what I got you for. And it was just such
my business wife.
Yeah, it was just such a flippant, offhanded answer that I was like, there was actually a lot of wisdom in that. And he's like, I don't need her to do that. He's like, I need her to do this. And he's like, and I've got you and Kevin to do these things with. And he's like, and when I want to do church stuff, I go to these people. And so, and I think a lot of that is because we've become increasingly remote. People live together in close quarters for extended period of time. And so it's like our exposure, our surface area with one another is gone so far up compared to how the vast majority of kind of relationships were, call it even 50 years ago. Like, you didn't spend nearly as much time with your spouse. And so it was more normal to have different people or different parts of your life that were, or needs being fulfilled by many people, and only the ones that are confined by the laws of marriage being delivered on that. Now, if you get somebody who can tick 2 of those boxes or 3 of those boxes, amazing. But I think the idea, because I tend to reject the idea of soulmate, and I think that people have this fallacy of the perfect pick. Like, I have to pick this person perfectly, when there's also the Buddhist perspective, which you and I have both, spoken length off camera about, which is like, suffering is going to be a constant. And this person will, like, we get to choose how we want this to go. And so I think that if you take off the societal pressure of a perfect partner and think, does this person make me better? Will this person hold me back from my goals? If the answer to that is they will make me better, they will make it more likely that I do the things that I want to do. And we have what I would consider non-negotiables. I want to have kids. They don't want to have kids. I want to travel. They never want to travel. If those things are good, I think part of the excitement of life is learning how to be married.
A quick aside, if you've been feeling a bit sluggish, your testosterone levels might be the problem. They play a huge role in your energy, focus, and performance, but most people have no idea where theirs are or what to do if something's off, which is why I'm such a huge fan of Function. I wanted a smarter and more comprehensive way to work out what's happening inside of my body. And twice a year, they run lab tests that monitor over 100 biomarkers and their team of expert physicians, then analyze the data and give you actionable advice to improve your health and lifespan. Seeing your testosterone levels and dozens of other biomarkers charted across the course of a year with actionable insights to actually improve them gives you a clear path to making your life better. And getting your blood work drawn and analyzed like this would usually cost thousands, but with Function, it's just $499. And for the first 1,000 Modern Wisdom listeners, you get $100 off, bringing it down to $399. So you can get the exact same blood panels that I get and save another $100 by going to the link in the description below or heading to functionhealth.com/modernwisdom. That's functionhealth.com/modernwisdom. Thank you very much for tuning in. Ooh, beefy Alex Hormozi clip there. How about the full meal available right here? Go on. I have to come up with novel stuff to get you to click on things. Come on, press it.